Bases drop for Tuesday Thoughts here in SDH AM. John here, you there. Thanks for coming along, as we always do. We got transfer stuff to talk about. We've got Atlanta United news to talk about. Happened middle of last night, and we'll go into that. We'll go through all of the other things that we went into yesterday, looking at particular players and player updates and things like that. And so Atlanta United to talk about. There's some other stuff going on in Major League Soccer, or some other teams that made moves overnight. And we will get into those moves, and we'll let you know what's going on. Everybody has congregated into Austin, Texas for MLS All-Star. It was MLS Next All-Star last night. It was a 4-3 match with MLS Next All-Stars. And so tonight it's skills and all the things and all that. So getting into All-Star, we'll find out what the layout is. Apparently the teams get some help when it comes to what's going on tonight. Lindsay Heaps, I think, is part of the help on the MLS side, along with Clint Dempsey. And so we'll go into all of the activity tonight in Austin at Q2 and all the things involving All-Star. We'll get into that coming up in just a little bit. Also on the board, coming up in about 10 minutes, Marty Jelleme, the head coach for Atlanta United's Unified Squad, is going to join us for one of his visits, because it's been a very, very busy month. Very, very busy month, and it will be this. I guess technically this will be a very, very busy month by the time it's over. Get this. So Unified, we're going to talk about the trip to Toronto and setting history there for Major League Soccer. Then we'll talk about All-Star. Then we'll talk about the Genuine Cup. You'll remember we had Ana Torres from Genuine Cup in Houston came on to break down the tournament for us. And then Atlanta United's a part of Genuine Cup. They got their first assignments, and it's Ajax. So we'll go over Genuine Cup, and we'll talk to Marty about what it's like to go up against international competition coming up at the end of the month at Rice University in Houston. So trip to Toronto, All-Star, Genuine Cup. So it's a busy month for the Unified team. We'll catch up with head coach Marty Jelleme coming up in just a little bit. We'll break all that down and what it's like for him and United and the staff to be traversing the planet and getting a lot of miles and points and things like that. So, like I said, we got transfer news. We've got internal stuff on Atlanta United. We'll keep track of what we were talking about yesterday with Atlanta United, and we'll talk about anything and everything going on involving Atlanta United. And I'll tell you what, he ain't wasting no time. He is wasting no time. Speaking English very, very goodly, he ain't wasting no time. So what we'll do, we'll break it all down with the Unified. Since we teased it, literally, I'm guessing Marty was watching, and it was like, oh, okay, so he's talking about me. I guess we should go ahead and dial it in. So I'll go ahead and bring in Marty Jelleme, the head coach for Atlanta United Unified, to break down everything Unified. Marty, what is the word? Good morning, sir.
What is the word? The word is it's going to be hot next week. That is the word.
You ain't kidding, brother. I do want to get into anything and everything that has been going on. But since you mentioned next week, we had the folks from Genuine Cup on, and we got the explainer for the tournament and everything. How did they knock on your door and Atlanta United's door to be a part of Genuine Cup? How did this come to pass?
I actually think it was Lena, to tell you the truth. I just think her awesome networking, and we did some work with USA Olympics. USA Soccer down in, was it Fayetteville?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Down in Fayetteville. And I think that's how they found out about us. I do think that Atlanta United is probably the premier Unified team, so that kind of helps us too. So I think those combinations got us there, and as soon as we heard about it, we were on it. I was all about going, because I think it's going to be the coolest thing that we have done to date.
It is absolutely crazy when you think about it, where you have 40 clubs from around the world that are going to be a part of this thing. And when they announced when they announced the groups and everything that's going to be attached with this tournament, you're like, okay. And then your first opponent, Ajax. Okay.
Exactly. But the thing is, I don't even know my next opponent. That's the funny part. I got no idea. It's the one thing that I think is unusual about this tournament is if you win, you keep on playing winners.
Ah.
So like most of your brackets, you get like a group of four, and then you play the round robin, and you kind of seed. From what we've been told, we will play a winner every single time. So if you win your first match, your second match and third match is against a winning team every time. But I haven't figured out how it's all going to bracket out in the end to get one winner. So I mean, I can't wait to see how this is all going to work out. So and our guys don't play. We play unified a lot. So the last few weeks we've been really trying to get to a straight player only game.
Mhm.
So it's a big change for us. So we've been working on it hard.
There are two groups for those of these 40 clubs that are here in this massive event for inclusive soccer. So here's the group that Atlanta United's Unified is blended in with, and here are your first matchups. We can't even really say first round matchups. We can just say first matchups.
Correct.
The Chevron Phillips Chemical Group with Atlanta United Unified. Werder Bremen, Newcastle, Atlanta United, Ajax, Barca and Rangers, FC Seoul and Football Futures Foundation, Sporting out of Portugal against Inter Miami, Club America Valencia, Roma and Tigres, Racing Club and Corinthians, Manchester United and the Hungarian national team, and Club Brugge and Boca Juniors. That's just in your group.
It's crazy, and I'm like, how do they pull these teams together? I mean, we're not a national team. If you think about it, we're like small compared to these national teams. We're just not just the local MLS team, but we are the MLS team for Atlanta United. So it's going to be a big challenge. I'm really interested to see what the level. How do we stack up against these teams? Because we've never played a group like this before.
Absolutely. Vincent and Elkins group, the other 20. PSG and United Genuine, Inter Milan, and the Mexican. You have the El Tree national team walking in the door. Tarragona, Manchester City, No Barriers, and the Guatemalan municipal team. Bayer Leverkusen, Yokohama Marinos, Fundaziao and Peñarol, the Puerto Rican national team in Querétaro, Kaunas and Fadim and Benfica, and the Croat national team. It is stunning to see all these names.
It's mind-boggling. When I haven't really sat down and looked at that, to tell you the truth. I looked at our group, and I've been watching the feeds coming in on Instagram of all the teams coming, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is like another national team. Another national team. I'm like, oh my God, what are we doing here?
Oh my gosh. I mean, has it it seems like it's kind of sunk in, but at the same time, there's still this absolute wonder of where unified soccer is and where the sport actually is going and where it has come from. What is it? I mean, you've been kind of, as we walk through all of these clubs, what what's it been like to see the sport get to this point?
Well, how about this? We did a first this year.
Yeah.
First team ever to travel internationally for MLS.
Yeah. You read.
I mean, now granted, Toronto's going to be right behind us, come back and travel and see us, which
Yes.
will be great. But we were the first team to ever go internationally. That started back 2 years ago when I went to the as coach of the All Star. We won't talk about the score, by the way.
No.
Yeah, not talk about that. But talked to the people from Montreal and Toronto, and they were like, no one's ever come to us. And I'm like, well, shoot, I'll see if Lena will do it. And sure enough, don't you know, 2 years later, here we are, the first team. And to see that growth that, but they didn't do that 2 years ago. Now we've traveled internationally. Now you've got this tournament, which last year was their first year, was 8 teams. They're in the mid 40s. I mean, it's just crazy. And then you have the new group, the Inspire? It's an Inspire. There's another like national style kind of tournament trying to take off too. So when you think about 7 years ago, there was nothing, and now look at all these opportunities. It's just this growth is just staggering. It's amazing.
Well, and you mentioned going over international borders and things like that. I would imagine that the logistics that go into all of this, there's an education factor that's involved, and then you come out of it with a new perspective of how things are going in Canada. What was it like for you and the club to go north of the border and experience these kinds of things and be able to share what has been going on with Atlanta United and in Major League Soccer with all these unified clubs? What has it been like to share the experience and spread it out over borders for a change?
I mean, I think it's been great. I mean, even just making all sure that all the kids have passports.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have a number of kids who've been adopted. So getting passports for adopted children, if it's the first time, is not that easy. So that alone, we had 2 or 3 people. Then just the having to do all those things was a big thing. I think that Lena did a wonderful job organizing it. And there's probably half a dozen of the kids, at least, it's the first time they've traveled out of the country, let alone to Canada. Some of our partners have done a little bit of traveling, but for players, this was their first time. Even though we spoke the same language in Toronto, which made it so much easier, as opposed to like if you went to Mexico or maybe even Montreal. Let's say if you
Mm-hmm.
went to go to Montreal, everyone's going to greet you in French. They're not going to greet you in English. They'll
Yes.
they'll speak to you in English, but you get a couple French words and get it going. But it's been a great experience. The kids have learned a ton just being in a separate country. They didn't. The one thing they didn't get a chance to do because it was such a short trip.
Yeah.
The money exchange. You and I kind of understand that, but to some of our players would have been the first time that, wait a minute, I don't have an American dollar bill.
Yes.
I've got a loon,
Yes.
right? Isn't
Yeah.
that the dollar
You've
for
got
them?
you've got loonies and toonies if you're dealing with the dollar and the $2 coins.
Yep.
Toronto is one of those. How do I phrase this? Uh, it is a two money city where they'll exchange it out, but it's the idea of like if you give somebody American dollars in some businesses, they will give you back American dollars or they'll give you back Canadian in change.
Yep.
But it is another one of those things that you get to learn about when it comes to different cultures and different behavior patterns and how things and how once again you're in Ontario province and they're being inclusive by making sure that you're comfortable even if you have US dollars and Canadian currency. So it's a learning experience, cultural and athletic too.
Yes, and the city's very diverse.
Yeah.
I used to go to Toronto a ton, but I've definitely seen more Indians,
Yeah.
and that was a huge influence that I noticed in since I haven't been there probably in about 10 years.
Mhm.
Um, but that's a big influence that people said has changed the city tremendously,
Yeah.
and it's very similar to Atlanta in that way, which is great. It's very diverse. There's different people from all over the world have settled in Toronto. They did get to go to medieval times, which was kind of cool. Half the kids have never done that. Well, actually, more than half, like 3/4 have never been. So that was a great experience for them.
And I know that because you only have a certain amount of time, you can't do everything. I know that you would have liked to have sent some of the players and some of the club up the CN Tower so they can, see what's going
Uh,
on there. But what that does is it gives you something that you can latch onto for next time, where they can sit there and they can go up CN Tower and they can see BMO Stadium. And they go, oh, that's where those kinds of shared experiences, are a part of this as well.
the funny part is, I don't even know if we get half the team because half the team is definitely afraid of heights because we talked about going there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, like half of them were like, "Yeah, I'll go in, but I'm not going any near the glass." I did not realize that so many kids were. I'm like, I've done what is it, the Sky Needle in Seattle.
Yeah.
You lean on that glass now. They've changed it so you can lean out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was into it, but half the kids I bet you would have walked about 2 or 3 feet to the edge, and that would have been as far as they would have gotten.
Yeah, and they actually have at CN Tower, you can actually go outside. You can go and I mean they have the observation deck. You have the glass enclosed, Then you have the walk around section that is metal enclosed. And then they have a special thing where you can actually sit there and you can put on the jumpsuit and they'll harness you in and they'll lean you over the edge.
Oh, I'm all in. Sign me up for that.
I mean, and then there is a section in the observation deck at CN Tower that has a glass bottom. And so folks will take their picture and they'll be sitting on that glass bottom and you can just like look straight down to
Oh, man. That would have been a great thing to do. We just did not have very much time on this trip.
But it gives you something to do when you go back. Marty Jelleme.
Exactly.
For Atlanta United Unified, talking about a very, very busy month for Unified with a trip to Toronto, trip coming up to Houston to play in an international tournament, the Genuine Cup. You've got All-Star. I thought it was really cool, All-Star going on this early part of the week in Austin, Texas. I thought that the reveal was very, very cool, and I'd like to remind folks to go back and watch about the reveal for All-Star and how that came to be. What was it like to see the reaction on their faces to see that they were going to Austin to be a part of All-Star?
Oh, the faces were just amazing. The funny part is Ike, if you've watched us play, he is that center mid that is so under control.
Yeah.
And he read the letter that his parents wrote, which I got to read it after, was so genuine and so heartwarming. But he was not stoic, but you could see the control, which was, it's interesting how different people, and then everyone knows Alex. Alex is like, the face just lit up like a balloon, like, okay, my God, I'm ready to go. Let's do this. It's the two different people were pretty amazing to kind of watch how they both handled finding out, which was kind of cool. Oh, I just wish I was there when they were able to read them. I happened to be out of town that week, so I couldn't be there for that.
Oh man, I mean, when you see somebody like Ike and Alex who have both flourished in that environment, and to see where to be a part of something, because this is not the first time that Atlanta United Unified players have been a part of All-Star, but to see Alex and Ike, and you mentioned the different personalities that are attached. Where has anybody gotten Alex a 10-gallon hat to wear when he's on the field there in Texas? Do we have any?
Somebody needs to do something like that. I guarantee when they see him and he comes off the plane, he's just going to be like jumping up and down, pulling his shorts up, showing his tattoo off like he always does. I mean, they're in for a treat. If nothing else, he's going to get everybody all hyped and ready to go for sure.
Well, when you have athletes be a part of an All-Star experience, and then they come back and they're back a part of the team dynamic, do you notice a change? Do they carry themselves differently all over again in a different way after having that All-Star experience where they were an ambassador? They got to learn about other clubs in a singular environment, but then that added little element of, okay, you're an MLS All-Star now. Do they carry themselves differently when they come home?
The partners, I definitely think, do more so than the players.
Yeah.
The players, I think the partners understand the significance of putting that All-Star jersey on. Sometimes I think the players, just because of the intellectual disability they might have, may not grasp the full, not the experience, but the weight of it, let's say.
Yeah.
Kind of like next week. I'm for sure I know that some of the players haven't really figured out how really amazing this tournament's going to be with all these people. They know about it, but until they get there and they really see it. And I think like one of the first ones will be when you walk down to the cafeteria, because we're staying at Rice University.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure all the clubs are in one dorm. Not 100% positive, but I think. So think you're going to go down to the cafeteria to have breakfast. It's going to be the United Nations down there.
Yeah.
And I think that will be when it really hits on how amazing that next week's tournament is going to be for these guys.
Genuine Cup next week. A week from today, I think, is when action starts down at Rice University in Houston, and the championship will be played inside Rice's American football stadium on the 1st. And so everybody needs to keep an eye on that. Genuine WC is where they are on the 280 character app. Do you know what your travel plans are yet for heading down and travel party and all that kind of stuff?
We leave on Sunday.
Okay.
I think at the airport at like 4 o'clock. 7 o'clock flight. We land at 8, and then we're in. I think we have an Astros game on Monday. They
Okay.
give us the first 2 days. I think. Well, I think there's a team from South Korea coming, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
It's one of the farthest ones.
I'll dig it up real quick.
So I think the first 2 days are kind of giving people a chance to get acclimated to time changes and things like that. So there's a lot of community events. We're going to go to the Space Center. I think we're going to do a baseball game. And then we really start on Wednesday match play.
Okay. Let's see. So FC Seoul is coming from
There you go.
South Korea. So yeah, and they're playing Wa'id Football Futures Foundation. So I want to.
I mean, every time I think about this, I've been so looking forward to it. It just blows my mind the people that are going to be there.
Yeah, and I'm trying to see. So out of Major League Soccer, it is just you and
Miami. That's it. Yep.
Werder Bremen, Newcastle, Atlanta, and these are the matchups once again. Werder Bremen, Newcastle, Atlanta United, Ajax, Barca Rangers, Seoul, Wa'id Football Futures, Sporting out of Portugal plays Inter Miami, Club America Valencia, Roma Tigres, Racing Club Corinthians, Manchester United, the Hungarian national team, Club Brugge Boca Juniors, and that's just your group. What when you look at Genuine Cup and when you come home, celestial champions of the whole thing. It's like worldwide champions. It's a Genuine Cup champ. I don't know what.
I don't know if you win. I can't even imagine. I mean, it would be just unbelievable.
Do you? Because of the success that the program has had on the field, do you sit there and have that in the back of your head, or is it just like, let's just go out and have fun and whatever happens, happens? And I mean this every season out of the blocks, because I know that there's that number that's hanging out there about being unbeaten. Is there a part of you that wants to keep that going as much as humanly possible, or do you not even get wrapped up in those kinds of things and let's just go out and play and whatever happens, happens?
You have to kind of, because it's competitive. I don't go into the season going, I want to stay undefeated. I think I go into trying to get the best out of them, and if you get the best out of them, then I think you have a good chance of doing it.
Yeah.
And plus, a lot of what this is skill building.
Yeah.
You know, doing interviews with you, traveling. So all those things not improve, but are experiences that these kids would never have.
Yeah.
So now they're growing. So wait a minute, now they're growing off the field. Well, if you're growing off the field, you're growing on the field too.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden, those do start correlating together as you do more interviews and things like that, and you learn about yourself. You learn about yourself on the pitch, and then all of a sudden they both snowball, and they all get better all the time. I mean, the biggest thing is for the growth of the player and partner to get them better as a person. But by doing that, the soccer always gets better. Would I love to win next week? Of course I would. I mean, and anybody who's going and says they don't want to, I think is a little naive. I mean, wouldn't everybody want to be able to say, "Hey, I won Genuine Cup"?
I think there might be a little fibbing going on.
Yeah. Then why are you in it? You play to win, but not at all costs. Come on, it's competitive. We're in a competitive group, and that's the way it is. If we made it to the first knockout round, I think everybody would jump up and down for joy, and it would be awesome. So we'll see. I mean, that would be, if we could get to there, I would call that a huge success. And then anything after that would just be, icing on the cake.
Yeah. How many matches has it been now?
For
the unbeatenness.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
It's 3.5 seasons.
Okay, so you're talking in the neighborhood
like of a dozen, probably.
Yeah, so like
somewhere in that.
Yeah, so a dozen matches of unbeatenness for Atlanta United Unified. You know,
As
Marty.
you see, as you see, I don't really keep track, so I couldn't even tell you what the real number is.
Well, but that's cool though that there are greater things in play. Yeah, the fact that the team has been unbeaten in its entirety is a cool byproduct of all of this. But it is the learning and the experience and integration and the unification of all of these different individuals, all these different cultures that come together and all this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean it's there, but it is so far in the background when it comes to the day to day. It was it's a cool, it's like I said, it's a cool byproduct of all of this. Uh,
Mhm.
you and I could probably talk forever about this kind of stuff.
I'm sure I could.
And but I wanted to before you guys left for Houston, I wanted to have you on to talk about Unified and where things are in a very, very busy month. When you come back from Genuine, obviously, you're going to come back. You're going to talk about the experience, but early August, we'll have you come back. We'll have you do another morning. We'll talk about Genuine. We'll talk about the season, and then when Toronto comes to town, all those kinds of things. Obviously, when we'll let everybody know how to watch and everything like that. I can't thank you enough for doing this. It's been great to catch up with you, and it's great to see how things are with Atlanta United's unified team as you guys are in a very, very busy month with All-Star going on right now, Genuine Cup happening next week, and a trip to Toronto already in the books. Marty, as always, it's great to see you, my friend. And just be safe and go have fun, and we'll catch up with you after Genuine Cup is over. Promise?
It, I promise. I think if you go have fun and not get the pressure, that's going to take you farther. So that's the goal.
Absolutely cool. Thanks again, Marty. We'll catch up soon.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, Marty Jelleme, head coach of the Atlanta United Unified team. Like I said, when Marty comes on and we talk about the Unified team, literally we could have conversations about all of the individuals that you see, what it's like to have them be a part of the Atlanta United Unified team, how they've grown as individuals, how the partners have grown, how all of this comes together. And you have All-Star that are a part of this, and it's Alex Eberly and Ike Eisworth. They are a part of the experience in Austin, and also getting into the idea of how you become involved in their tryouts and practices and all these kinds of things. And so this is a 12-year-old program that has been attached to MLS Works, where they had a partnership announced with Special Olympics of North America. And what they wanted to do was they wanted to introduce the sport. They wanted to have athletes with intellectual disabilities attached to the program and unified soccer. And so in 2017, Atlanta United launched the program for Unified, and it was a Special Olympics unified team comprised of both with athletes and without with and without intellectual disabilities. So the athletes are the individuals with the intellectual disabilities, and the partners are the ones that do not have them. And so it is literally Special Olympics, Georgia, Cobb County, North Fulton United, Atlanta United. Marty is attached to North Fulton United. There's an open tryout late fall. And traditionally, you can send an email to Atlanta United and under the community banner, and then you can find out more about tryouts and everything. They train at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, and they do that each week from February to October. And you have ambassadors and players attending training sessions for encouragement. You see Brad Gazan, who's been attached to this. You've seen Jay Fortune, who's been attached to this for the matchups where the 17s. And I can't thank you guys enough, because of when matches are over at at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and there is a unified match after, the fact that the 17 stay as much as you do, and you come from the end zone, you come into the 100 section, you sit there, and the fact that to the 17s and to all of you, it is another match that is associated with Atlanta United. It just happens to be the unified team. And I can't give you guys enough credit for being a part of all of that and showing the support for everything in the overall and including the unified team in that. and I give you guys all the credit in the world. You got all of the unified competitions. Team plays either 9v9 or 11v11. You noticed that when they were in Toronto, the field was from top of the 18 to the top of the 18. So it was 36 yards smaller in length than it was. And it was a tough match. I mean, it was a shootout in Toronto. And by the time it was over, you ended up, I think it was 5-3 final. So, I mean, it was one of those where you're sitting there and it was a hot competition. And it was a fun match to watch. And Greg Garza and the Hoff were on the call for that one. So you get to experience different cultures. You get to experience what it's like for the families and the parents and all of the support for all of these athletes. You get to see what it's like to experience different cultures and going to Toronto and moments like that. But the really, and Marty and I were laughing about it, but if you think about it, the Genuine Cup coming up next week. The Genuine Cup coming up next week. You end up with all of these clubs. It's insane to think about. And I give the Torres Foundation a massive amount of credit, because you have, and like I said, and I'm going to do this again. I'm going to mention these clubs. I want to mention all of these different clubs that are attached to Genuine Cup. And like it's 40 clubs, and apparently it is survive and advance. It literally is survive and advance. I don't know how you get to, when you get to 10 left and it's 5v5, I don't know how you move from there, considering it's an odd number. But you have 40 clubs, 2 groups of 20, 10 matchups to start. And according to Marty, it is win and move on. So you go from 20 to 10 to 5. I don't know how you go from, and then maybe from 5 you blend in, and it's the 5 survivors in each, and then you go through some kind of lethal draw or something to figure out, okay, how do we go from 10 to 8 and then 8, 4, 2, 1. I don't know how this blends, but Werder Bremen, Newcastle, Atlanta United, Ajax, Barca, Rangers, FC Seoul, Wydad Football Futures, Sporting out of Portugal, Inter Miami, Club America Valencia, Roma, Tigres, Racing Club Corinthians, Manchester United, the Hungarian national team, Club Brugge, Boca Juniors. That's the group that Atlanta United is in. That's what they have to survive to win this tournament. The other group, PSG, United Genuine, Inter Milan, El Tri. The Mexico national team is coming. Tarragona, Manchester City, No Barriers, Club Social y Deportivo Municipal Guatemala, Bayer Leverkusen, Yokohama Marinos, Fundación Peñarol, Puerto Rican national team, Querétaro, Kaunas, Fadim, Benfica, and the Croat national team. That's what's coming to Houston. And so they're leaving Sunday. They're going in on Sunday, and they're getting acclimated, and then it is going to be Astros, Kennedy Space Center, and then you're playing a week from today. 29, 30, 31, and 1, I believe. And so, like I said, the championship is going to be at Rice University Stadium. And the photos are up for that. So, last year they went to the Johnson Space Center. This year they're going back. Last year went to the Astros game. They're going back. And it is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Manchester United Foundation is posting things. Peñarol is posting things. Racing Club is posting things. And they're getting the sponsors on Friday, August 1st. That's when the final is at Rice Stadium. So at Genuine WC is where you find out all the information. At Genuine WC on, if I could spell, at Genuine WC on the Twitters. And so that's where you go. at Genuine WC to follow. I don't know if there are any broadcast plans or not. I don't know. I would hope that there are. I would hope that there are plans. Yes. I would hope that there is a plan. I would hope that there are plans. But I don't know. I would imagine so, and I would also imagine that Atlanta United Social will be keeping you posted about the matchup against Ajax. It is just, it is absolutely crazy to think about. Yeah, who are you playing? Oh yeah, we're playing Ajax. Yeah, we're playing Ajax in the first round of the tournament. But just everybody that is coming together for this. Really looking forward to seeing the mix, and to Marty's point about it being like the United Nations, because apparently you're staying on campus. You're staying on campus with Atlanta, with everybody else. So all of the other teams, it's like housing probably for close to 1,000 folks. And Lena Saul and everybody with Atlanta United heading over with the club and everything. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out with the Genuine Cup next week in Houston. But like I said, leaving Sunday, being a part of something very, very cool. One of two clubs in Major League Soccer, Inter Miami and Atlanta United, heading out that way. All-Star going on, in Texas. And so with Alex Eberle and Ike Eisworth being a part of all of that. Been a very, very busy month. Will continue to be so. And obviously, when Genuine Cup is over, we'll have Marty come back on and we'll break it down even further and find out how the experience was in Houston with 39 other clubs from around the world getting ready to play. So that's very cool. I'm glad we were able to catch up with Marty before Marty and everybody was set to head to Houston. All right. Time to cut your promos. Time to get you ready for everything else that's going on. We'll go through all of the reports, good, bad, indifferent, ugly. And we did have a move with Atlanta United yesterday, and we'll get into that as well coming up. All right, let's cut all the promos and let you get all your spidey senses ready to go with everything. Once again, soccerdownhere.net is where you get all of your information with us, all the stories, all the written word, the store with all the gear. And it's all the new gear. I'm sorry, I know that I keep trotting this out every single time, but it is, we haven't quite figured out how to get the retro gear up for sale yet. But soccerdownhere.net, you can listen to us live. You can listen to us on tape. You can buy the gear. You can read the stuff and be a part of it that way. Also, you can go to Olive & York, and speaking of jerseys, you can pick up our first ever jersey at Olive & York, and that helps out our Soccer for Good campaign here in 2025. And what you can do with that, with the navy jersey and the floppy collar, you can choose whether or not you want to have white letters and numerals for personalization, or the double blue, Carolina blue, Tar Heel blue, whatever part of the planet you're from. Check with Alex and Abby to figure out which version will be better suited for you and your tastes. It is Soccer for Good on one sleeve, Beyond Goals Mentoring on the other, and don't forget, you can always go back into the Greg Garza archive on his IG, and you can see him do Blue Steel and Maddie and Sophia modeling it as well. So you'll have that for them. Grady Baby Co. You go to Grady Baby, you can pick up the Soccer is Just Better in Atlanta, the gold embossed, either red or black sweatshirt or T-shirt. The SDH logo, SDH Network logo on one sleeve. On the other sleeve, it is the Grady Baby logo. And proceeds there help out middle school soccer programs attached to the Atlanta public school system. So you can pick that up there at Grady Baby. And I have that gear as well. The boss wears the black because she can't wear the red. Michael Head can relate. And so that is where you can go and get the Soccer is Just Better in Atlanta gear. You can get that at our friends at Grady Baby. Don't forget Marshall Island Soccer Federation. They are 3 weeks away, I want to say, 3 weeks away from Springdale, Arkansas, and the tournament, the first ever Outrigger Challenge Cup. And what you can do is get the Marshall Islands gear. You can go to their store, get all the gear. You can get the scarf from me. I have a couple here. I'm forwarding the ones that I will have on hand to Arkansas. So anybody that wants a scarf after or after the tournament kicks in, you're going to have to go to Arkansas to get it, because I'm sending these out there so they can have some stuff on hand as they go. All the other stuff comes from a store in Great Britain. The scarves come from me until it is tournament week, and then it's going to be in Arkansas, and you're going to have to either shake Lloyd Orr's hand, or Matt Webb's hand, or Justin Whaley's hand, the coaching staff and the front office. You're going to have to shake their hands and help them continue to spread the word. The second Kickstarter campaign is up to help with defraying costs actually in Arkansas. The first Kickstarter campaign was successful. Everybody's going. Marshall Islands Soccer Federation, Turks and Caicos, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the fourth club, sadly, is not Guam. It is going to be the Ozark United U19s filling in the space. So the local hosts that are going to be a part of USL on the varsity level and on the chief competition level, their U19s are going to be team number 4 attached to this particular tournament. So go to Kickstarter, check out the new Marshall Islands Kickstarter campaign to help defray costs of actually hosting in the week and revenue that they need going forward. Buy the gear that comes from England. Buy the scarf, it comes from me. You go to the website, Maddie Modeling Said Scarf. So you've got that to look forward to as well. You can watch a lot of activity going on across the planet with our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Helps them out with viewers. Helps you out continuing to add to all of the different leagues that you might not know exist, that you can add to your stacks. Liga 1, Liga 1 Max Pro, all of the WAFCON stuff currently that's going on, the women's AFCON tournament on all the BNs. They've added Tigo Sports. They've added Canal 4. I think you're seeing some CATV stuff on there as well. You can check out our buddy Nino Torres and Gold TV. Watch what's going on in South America with Peruvian soccer. You've got, who else am I missing? Let's see, Teise with everything going on in Argentina, Liga 1 Max Pro, CDO 1 and 2 for the fans, all the things, Nuestra Tele, all of that available on, and Libertadores and Sudamericana, all of that available at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. And you can help out Fanatis. You can help us out and help out all of your stacks from everything that you end up watching on a daily basis. Also, one thing, summer series is coming, and I wanted to let you know about what is going on with something very, very cool at the top soccer bar on this or any other planet. And it is what is going to be going on at the hang on just a second. Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? So I get sent a note, and now I can't find the silly thing. Oh, there it is. Never mind. Okay, finally found it. It is Summer Footy Fest with the Premier League trophy. And this is very, very cool that is going on. Summer Footy Fest. It is a full day, Friday, August 1st. And Bart's going to join us here a day early. Okay, Bart's joining us a day early. So we'll get into things with Bart coming up in a sec. Friday, August 1st from 4 to 9 at the Brew House. Rock the Disco sound system with the Captains of Revelry, the OGs when it comes to getting the party started, according to the invite. Then the fan zone is outdoors, thanks to our friends at Guinness. The Premier League trophy is going to be visiting from 6 to 7:30. And I'm guessing you can get your picture taken with that. I don't know if you're allowed to touch it. It's probably, being surrounded by gentlemen who are rather large when it comes to making sure that is not dinged, touched, or smudged. You can get your picture taken with that. 7:30 to 8, Q&A with Wes Brown, ex-England and Manchester United star, which will be inside with our buddy Kevin Egan. 5:15 to 5:45. Q&A with fans of the Summer Series teams. Our Matty Cruz is going to be a part of that from 5:15 to 5:45. 4 to 9, America's Best Soccer Bar, according to, us, and officially made by Men in Blazers. So, once again, We're going to be at the Brew House August 1st, 4 to 9, breaking everything down at the Brew House. Everything from Rock the Disco sound system to the fan zone to the Premier League trophy. Q&A with Wes Brown with Kevin Egan. Q&A with fans of the clubs that are coming to be a part of Summer Series with Maddie from 5:15 to 5:45. So that's going to be very, very cool. Go there, do things. That's the official terminology. So go there and do things. All right. Bart said that he wasn't available till Wednesday, so I hadn't done anything to let Bart know what's going on. And so Bart crashes on a Tuesday instead. So welcome.
Well, John, I'm crashing because I have a little time, and I'm looking forward, thinking we'll probably have more stuff to talk about tomorrow because there are a couple of games going on today that we'll probably have some refereeing things to talk about.
Yeah. So there'll be some of that, but how many games do you think Eddie Segura is going to get for his handsy behavior in El Tráfico?
I'm trying to think what the precedent for this has been, because I know we've seen a 3-game.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure if it'll be 6. I think that's the next level.
Yeah.
But look, how many times have you said to a toddler, keep your hands to yourself?
Keep your hands to yourself.
I'm very concerned about. We had this idea of the mass confrontation that we wanted to quell during COVID. And I think that was more of a COVID thing. It did not seem, John, to carry too much after that, because we have seen this repeatedly. Mm-hmm. And yes, you can have fines, but I don't think fines are affecting players and teams the way that a suspension should.
Yeah.
And oof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Keep your hands to yourself, kid.
Yes. Spoken very, very well by our friends, the Georgia Satellites. I posted the link to the video in the Twitch pitch. And I mean, it's first off, it's El Tráfico. I get it. It's going to be heated. It was a nasty tackle in the 90th minute. And so Igor Jesus decides he's going to try and break folks apart, which really doesn't help matters. And then I'm counting bodies. It literally looks like Eddie Segura having to be pulled away, 3, 6. You're probably talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 14 players. And Guido Gonzalez Jr. wasting no time.
No.
Left hand. He's like trying to motion past Jelleme Abobasi and literally on 14 people. Yellow card to LAG, yellow card to Cuevas. So 2 yellows to LAG. He wanders then over. He's like, I got you. He points at Segura, mentions hands to the throat. Valencia now wants to get involved.
Yep.
And that's all in 70 seconds.
Yeah.
That literally is all in 70 seconds. I mean, it was a nasty takedown to start things off. Then you get the pull of the jersey. Then you get studs kind of up a little bit. Cuevas standing over people. Then Segura is being escorted away from everything involving the mass confrontation. And then they go back and look. But Guido Gonzalez Jr., to his credit, he had the red card. He had it out handy, and he was ready to go, because he literally goes and sees hands to the throat. And literally, that was what he did. He literally is oh, wow. I mean, it was wasting no time. He saw it happen, and he was on top of it. But, yeah, mass confrontation in El Tráfico. Who knew?
I do want to discuss 2 things that our friend Guido Gonzalez Jr. did well in this scenario.
Go for it.
Firstly is the initial foul he calls pretty quickly and immediately is going to his pocket for his yellow card. This is something that, as a referee, we don't often think about in terms of like, that is showing a yellow card before showing the other. That is an indication to everyone, hey, this is unacceptable, and I am going to deal with it. Because in theory, not in this match, but in theory, that will help kind of get ahead of the backlash you're probably going to receive from the opponent, whoever got fouled and their teammate, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what happens in this scenario. Is LAFC, half the team feels like they need to stick up for their guy who just got fouled,
Right.
but as soon as he sees that mass confrontation, the second thing he does well is he just kind of backs away. He and his AR are watching. Obviously, we know we have the benefit of video pretty much everywhere to catch these things, but you want to still be able to administer, punishment, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
in the moment as best as possible. You do not want to have to rely on VAR to say, hey, you missed a guy's hands to his throat, or worse, a guy punching someone else. And so I thought this was actually really well handled, despite it being crazy, because they're grown adults, and you can't just insert yourself in the middle of what looks to be, I don't know, 7 to 23 players going after each other. But it's very similar to, John, as you know, from the hockey days. Sometimes you just gotta let the guys fight it out, and then say, hey, you did the thing, and now we're gonna take the action we need to take. And was very quick to have both cards in his hands to deliver the discipline.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you can't stop everyone from being stupid, but you can make sure that they know they were stupid after the fact. And I thought he did a decent enough job of that here. Again, you can't. It was a bad foul. It maybe could have been a red card foul, to be quite honest. You could argue it's serious foul play.
Yeah.
But that is irrelevant, because he didn't even really get to show the yellow card before the mass confrontation occurred.
Yeah. And it was Segura on Fagundes was where it was.
Yeah.
You had the initial foul of, and I'm trying to, literally, I'm spinning past names and numbers trying to figure out who it was. I think it was Cuevas who had the initial foul.
Yes.
And then it's like you're trying to pick folks up off of the turf, and then 2 turns into 3, which turns into 7, and I swear to God, it was like 14 players that were there by the time it was over. Mass confrontation, I know that you discussed that. The other thing that I seem to, and then not just me, but in the collective, that we seem to see more than the average bear once again is folks from outside the immediate impact of the foul wanting to get in their 2 cents, who are not captains in a situation. It seems to be something that and I mean, I know that it is up to the center ref to sit there and either accept everybody who wants to woof and do whatever. It's like, all right, I'm gonna let you get it out of your system, or back away from me, I got stuff to do. But it seems like, the implementation of this rule still is something that is in the hands of the folks with the whistles and the cards, not necessarily looking at the book.
Yeah, I'm not sure how this is going to progress, John, because we also have a webinar for this tonight with Georgia Soccer, so that's kind of cool. We'll get some sort of mid-season update on the laws of the game. This is going to be interesting, how we can continue to enforce this new interpretation, modification, the laws of the game. It's not new in the sense of, we've always allowed the captain to have some level of, not control, but authority of leadership. We've always recognized that, but we did allow non-captains way too much vocal freedom. Let's just put it that way, to talk with referees. And there's nothing wrong with providing feedback to a referee. I mean, I think that's something that refs as a whole do need to understand. Is we've talked about it. Look, in this, the case we just went through. Okay, Cuevas fouls. Who does he foul? Cuevas getting fouling a guy. The guy getting fouled is not the captain, but very within his own right to look at the referee and go, "Come on, man!" I mean, look, you have to accept that as a referee. A player who just got hacked down from behind is going to immediately look at you and say, "Well, are you going to do something about it?"
Yeah.
Which again is why going to the pocket early is a good strategy. But it's after the foul has taken place and we're trying to clear up and get the game restarted.
Yeah.
Accessories to the captain somehow coming in and wanting to voice their opinion. Their opinion at this point is irrelevant because we're having the conversation with the captain, right? This is the goal here, is to have a one-on-one conversation, not a 7-on-1 conversation. And then, the other team guys have to come in, about 3 of them, to plead their case. And really what I'm hopeful this will do, John, is get games restarted quicker.
Yeah.
And also allow for actual feedback, because again, as a referee, you do want to have some feedback. For example, I'm playing in a adult league game last week, and the referee, to his credit, allows an advantage for our guy was getting pulled back and everything, and our guy does break free, but he then dribbles into a 3-on-1 scenario. And I'm like, "Hey, ref, we'll just take the yellow card that time." This is something coaches and players will say to me, like, "Hey, that's not really an advantage." Because as a ref, I'm going, "Oh, he's still got the ball. He's progressing downfield. He's dribbling. This is good, right?" A lot of times they'll come back and say, "No, actually, we'll call that foul next time." And I go, "Okay, cool. Like, that's feedback I want." Or, sometimes there are too many guys in the box pushing and shoving, which I know, John, would never happen because everyone behaves well when there's a corner kick or a set piece that involves.
Absolutely will do, sir. Yeah.
As a referee, your job then is to step in and give early feedback, so we're not, dealing with it after the fact. So there are times when we want feedback, but we want to just make sure we're getting one voice that we're communicating to and with, right? So that it's not, well, the left back wants it this way because he thinks this way. It's no, we need to have a one-on-one conversation with the captain. I don't know how this is going to work in the long run, but as your point, the referees do need to make the circle, if you will.
Yeah.
But it's hard when you have, you're one dude out there and you have 22 other players who feel like they're entitled to tell you something.
Yeah.
Even though they're, probably as educated in the laws of the game as a 4-year-old.
Wow. David Martinez. Cuevas on David Martinez is what's the whole thing. So Cuevas goes in for the tackle, and then on the way down is grabbing David Martinez's jersey. It can be.
I really think it could have been a red card.
Yeah.
I will say that I think this absolutely could be serious foul play. And at that point in the match, a red card at that point isn't fundamentally changing anything. And he did a lot to earn that, Cuevas did.
So you end up with the initial contact, Cuevas on David Martinez. Then you have 3-on-1, which turns into 3-on-2. Igor Jesus is trying to even up numbers. LAG players come in, and it's 3v3. It's 5v4. It's 7v5. Now it's 8v5. 9-10v7. And then so you had, at least in one shot, in the 91st minute, you had 17 players before Guido Gonzalez Jr. tries to slow things down, gives the yellow to Fagundes, gives the yellow to Cuevas, then gives the red to Segura. Did I get all of that in there?
I think so. It's just, again, it's hard as the single referee. And even if you bring an AR in, that's 2v a lot. And you just don't want to, for your own personal safety, you don't want to get too involved in a mass confrontation like that. You really do just need to kind of sit back and go, okay, let me make sure I'm taking notes, because you are the most reliable narrator in this scenario. And seriously, MLS or any league is going to rely on you to report the facts of the situation, because white team and black team aren't going to report the facts of the situation.
They're going to, well, the facts as they see them.
It's right. Their narratives are going to be different.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So then Peck got an, oh, by the way, yellow 2 minutes into the discussion.
Yeah.
Then Lloris gets a yellow at 90+6 for poor sportsmanship. And then Maya Yoshida scores the game tying goal at 90+7. So Yeah. So that was the first question I had whenever you were going to pop in was about Segura and the chaos that we had in El Tráfico. Gee, that never happens.
Well, John, I do want to talk about Atlanta United and not the things that we've been talking about that you and I have been texting about. I want to talk about a referee decision in the game on Saturday that I think impacted the rest of the game.
Sure, go for it.
And I want your opinion.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I'm watching from the stands, right? So, I don't want to say a limited view, but I do have a slightly skewed view.
An end zone view of everything going away from you.
In the first half, I believe it was.
Sure.
Ronald Hernandez gets a yellow card for stopping a promising attack.
Yeah.
Essentially is what it was, if you remember this correctly.
If I remember, yeah.
Also in the first half, a man named Pep Biel gets a yellow card for a bad, a similar foul. I think it was also a stopping a promising attack. But in the second half, Charlotte has scored. Atlanta is trying to break through on a breakaway. It's the 52nd minute, and Pep Biel just straight up grabs a guy from behind and takes him down. It's in our half, but it's not near our penalty area. It's very much within we're trying to break out of our zone and start a counterattack.
Right.
Pep Biel commits the foul for stopping a promising attack.
Okay.
52nd minute.
Okay.
Now, that word I just said, stopping a promising attack, it was not in my opinion, it was not he just fouled him and that's a bad foul. There was very much the intention of stopping a promising attack. It was I believe if I'm correct, a shirt pull of some sort.
I thought it was a horse collar. I'm going to go back and look.
Which in itself could be a yellow card.
Yeah.
But that decision to not give a player a second yellow card for a very obvious stopping a promising attack impacted the game. And the low-down dirty cheaters from up north got away with it.
Yeah.
So do you see where I'm going here? Here? Like, I think Atlanta United has a level of discontent that they're allowed to have with Alan Chapman, who did not have a great game, I thought, on Saturday, and showed his, as I tweeted, it seemed like he's at the twilight of his career, and that probably needs to come sooner than later. But that was a mistake. If you're going to give a guy a yellow card for a less obvious stopping a promising attack in the first half,
right,
then you need to then be consistent with what constitutes stopping a promising attack and a yellow card for said infraction, because that is look. He did not call play on. He called the foul, and not giving that yellow card. What happens? 10 minutes later, and then 15 minutes later. And look, Atlanta United has 99 problems. The referee ain't one of them, but that is an instance.
You're taking my material, sir.
But that did seem, it bothered me. I didn't recognize it in the moment because I didn't realize it was Pep, right? But I saw it in the moment and go, that's got to be a yellow card for them because you gave us one not 20 minutes earlier. And as I check my text messages after the game, I have a friend who has texted me. He's like, Pep Biel should have been red carded. I was like, wait. And he's like, he told me the scenario. I was like, oh, that was him. And it was, quite frankly, a miss by Chapman, which not is only one of the day.
Yeah, no. And, but yeah, it was the iniquity in situations. I think that, and this is something probably that I'm going to end up asking our friends at Pro about is what is the review process and how consistent is it?
Yeah.
Is it something that is match by match? Is it monthly? Is it, do you have a stopping point? Is it a quarterly thing? Is it something at the end of the year? And I think that it lends itself into the idea of helping out legitimately. I think it can help out VAR if you have these officials that, can't quite go from one end to the other anymore with the speed and celerity that they have, where you have them be fourths and then you have them be VAR. And then I think you can have them as those counsels for younger officials that just want to be VAR. I think that it is a path that could be helpful for the game here in the United States. But when do you tell a center ref that enough is enough? That to me is the question in all of this. Is that it's like, dude, you've lost your fastball. I want you to be a part of the process, but here's the review and here's why and all this kind of stuff. So that and then you run into probably discussions with union officials and things like that. But I think that I'd love to know what the review process is when it comes to center refs and how you get into these kinds of things.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right to ask that question, because I think we would all like to know what that review process is, both in the season of just how do we make sure there are consistencies across all refereeing, across all games, right? That's something that we always want. That I do think MLS has a greater variance than a lot of other leagues. Some leagues like, Liga MX, they're consistently not calling things. But, there are, you look at the Premier League, and we've had this issue of consistent VAR calls specifically. Because I think that's where VAR absolutely should be coming in, is to make sure that we are consistently getting the correct call on the field, right? Because referees are going to miss certain things, especially for the Premier League, which has like a million if-then statements about some of their red cards. But when it comes to a referee's performance, at what point do you go, hey man, you aren't delivering what you need to? And I'd be curious how much of this is a fitness tracking thing, because while we do have fitness tests, I'm not sure what that looks like, in the game.
Yeah.
There may be a way to be like, hey man, you're not keeping up with play the way that you should. That's one thing. It could be, as we mentioned with Chapman, I think he gave a decent amount of yellow cards in that game, but he also let some go. And again, one of those ended up being a pretty game altering decision.
Okay. I have the play. It literally is in the end of the 52nd minute. It's a shot to the top of the 18, and it ends up being defended fairly easily. And you have an attack starting the other way. So BL offensively, 51-47 on the clock, looking down the right wing, cuts it to the inside, chips it in with his left, defended, cleared, and Miranchuk basically gets grabbed at inside center circle. And I mean, it is a token grab, and it is a card. And BL is sitting there, and he's doing the Mutombo finger wag over the whole thing. And
the foul is called. That's what I think is what bothers me here. It's not like there was no foul called. The foul was called.
Yeah. Foul is called. BL, with his left hand, grabs Miranchuk and spins him.
Which is, to me, John, a classic stopping a promising attack, right?
Yeah.
Again, if he had tripped him from behind, okay, you can say, well, it's not stopping a promising attack in the same way. I mean, it still is technically, but we understand the difference between, you fouled a guy from behind, and you intentionally stopped a promising attack. And that's what I think the issue I have here is, it was a very intentional. It's the same as we have this discussion with penalty kicks of, well, dogs so red inside the penalty area still exist if you do what Pep BL just did.
Yeah. And I mean, there were a bunch of folks in the circle between Miranchuk and what have you, and it was in his own defensive half and all those kinds of things. But yeah, no card issued, I think, is the larger element in this. Is, yes, professional foul, nothing happens. BL does this, has a talk with Chapman.
He knows what he did. That's, to me, that indicates he knows what he did.
Absolutely. And Chapman, I believe, gave him the no moss finger wag and return off.
Right.
I can go back and check the video real quick because I've got it queued up. But literally has a discussion with BL. BL knows what he did. No, I didn't do anything, but yeah, you did. And no repercussion. And so I think that is something that, we talk about game state, we talk about momentum, we talk about all these kinds of things. And I know that we do harp on officiating, but we do it for a reason. And it has to do with game state and how things change. And we want, and I don't want folks to, for a double negative, I don't want folks to misunderstand why we do it as much as we do. We want the game to be as sound as possible on the field, and we want it to be as
Correct.
equal a distribution of the talent of both the officials and the players. We want the game to be the game. We don't want things to interrupt it, but we want you to be consistent when you do.
Correct. That's where we're at. And I think the reason we have these discussions is to educate. I think that's the first thing, is we want people to understand.
Yes.
From a referee standpoint, it's not always cut and dry, this or that, right? There are a lot of things that can be one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I think the issue I have with this particular moment was it was very clear to me what the player in question did.
Mm-hmm.
And that, to me, I know we can't judge intent, but I do think we can judge the action of the player on the field, and grabbing someone from behind is not in any way, shape, or form within the realm of playing soccer.
Yeah. You're trying to stop someone from playing soccer at that point.
Correct.
You don't want them to do something. That to me, by nature of the game in and of itself, if you are stopping someone from playing soccer, I believe that would be a foul. a game stoppage traditionally is a foul or a tackle of some degree. So am I missing something here? I'm just,
Exactly. It just is
mm-hmm.
unfortunate, John, because again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that would have affected necessarily the outcome of the game. I will say,
yeah,
I'll slide a little bit into Atlanta United for a second. So go with me.
Uh-huh.
I will say that I think offensively, Saturday was a really good performance from the team. Comparatively.
I know.
Obviously, the first half was really good. I thought the second half was still relatively decent.
Yeah.
I think if you look at that play and you go, okay, Pep Biel's on a red card, Charlotte is down a man.
Yeah. Then
I do not think for a significant portion of time, mm-hmm. I think it's fair to say. Mm-hmm. I do not think Charlotte is able to, I don't think Charlotte's able to withstand Atlanta United's attack, because outside of, Kalina becoming Kalina of old, mm-hmm. Atlanta could have had another goal or two. Mm-hmm. And I think if you take away a Charlotte defender or a player on the field, especially one at the level of Pep Biel, who contributes to the next two goals.
Yeah. And that probably means, it probably means, to your point, if BL gets the second yellow and is issued a red, Charlotte's a man down, then Dean Smith has to make a tactical change where he's pulling off an offensive player for another defensive player, and then he bunkers, and it's 28 behind the ball for the remaining 40 minutes.
Right. It's not. You can't say, oh, well, if that happens, Atlanta doesn't lose, right? Or Charlotte doesn't win. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can extrapolate that. But I do think it's fair to say that had he given that card and then Biel been sent off, the game would have ended much differently.
Yeah.
Granted, you can't account for Atlanta United center backs not center backing very well, but it does at least take away some of that threat from happening. And it just, it's frustrating. And again, in a season of frustration, the fact that how many times have we talked about it? It feels like every single referee decision somehow has gone against this team when it matters.
Yeah.
It just felt like this was another one where, like, man, had you just given us that, and especially in a moment when Charlotte had certainly not even recaptured momentum, like taken it completely from Atlanta United, that would have been a momentum shift back in our favor. And who knows how the game ends. And again, that's just, I don't think it's controversial to say Pep Biel should have been given a second yellow card there. I just don't.
I don't. No, I think that should have been that grip and rip should have been called a foul. It was a professional foul, should have been, and he should have been pulled off. And so I think, like I said, we talk about game state a lot for a reason, and creating opportunities, and a moment that has a cross section with one of your segments against the what is it, the dirty, rotten, lying, cheating scoundrels up 85? Is that
correct?
Okay, just checking. I just wanted to make sure that I got that right. So we talk about game state for a reason. We talk about pro for a reason, and it's not to. It is not to just ish on them for the sake of ishing on them, although 9 times out of 10, it's probably something very simple to do. There is a rationale behind it. And much like, and admitting to what Derek says it's a noble pursuit, but a futile one. But I would much rather continue to put sunlight on topics.
Correct.
Than bury the topic and sit there and go, And I know that we've gotten into the discussion of, it's like, well, what's the repercussion? What is the repercussion when pro is pro and there ain't nobody, there is no direct competition in a free market economy for pro. Pro is the monopoly that is attached to those individuals. So, I mean, there is rationale. And Derek says, don't get me wrong, questioning officiating is one of the most entertaining parts of the game. Yeah, because it is what we like to do is take the Dr. Joe rule book, and while we sit here and we go like this with the rule book with Dr.
Mine
Joe.
Doesn't bend, John.
I know. Well, it's because you're not 702 years old. So, wow, I got to.
Hey, my first few years we got actual rule books, so the laws of the game are printed and handed out.
Man, I got a snort laugh out of you on a Tuesday. That's good stuff. All right, so. Why? And this is more a question for the ether than for you. Is it why did the Euro plan all of their quarterfinals on subsequent days? 1, 2.
I don't know, John. I was confused by this as well because, I think there's possibly a competitive disadvantage. I mean, you're looking at today, England
it's like
played 2 days after Italy, and that's. I don't know, John.
That's what I'm saying.
You think about, look, it's their own doing, but you think about Germany having to now go play the second best team in the world. I'll still maintain that. They're going to have to play them on less rest after playing a bajillion minutes down a player, which, by the way, pulling someone's hair is a red card, just so that we're all clear. But, man, that is... I'm with you. I think it makes more sense to do back-to-backs, double headers, if you will, on the day. I don't really get it. That's one thing that I do think. Okay, I know this is shocking, so we don't need to go too. It's one thing that I think CONCACAF absolutely gets right. Is you have 2 quarterfinals are fun. And while you love to stretch out the madness, it does create a competitive disadvantage if one team is playing on a Monday, the other one's playing on a Thursday. It just does.
So I'm saying.
Or in this case, it was Sunday through Friday or whatever it was. So yeah. But drama, and that's really what matters in this sport. John, is drama.
Of course, absolutely true. And we'll get into CONCACAF because they had some news coming up as well. So you after the Euros, you're coming back for more? Is that what I
think that'll be the plan, John. I'm luckily working from home the rest of the week, so
there you go.
But I figured we would have more refereeing things to talk about from these 2 matches.
Absolutely true. So yes, so after these two matches are complete, then we'll discuss more about things. As always, I'm glad you've survived. Everyone, you and everyone else touring the planet, trying to sit there and make sure that everyone is. Buying what they need to buy, selling what they need to sell, and introducing one to the other where it's like, oh, you're buying? Oh, you're selling. Okay, hi, let's meet,
You've 8 straight days of work, and I get to do it again in August, so we're fantastic.
Yay!
We're loving it. Good luck to the Fighting Jess Sharmans this afternoon.
Yes, absolutely true. So we will see you. Thanks again for your early week visit, sir.
Y'all have a wonderful day.
Oh, we're gonna give it a shot. Talk to you. There goes Bart. So Bart does the Jarrett thing. He just fades out on his own. Okay, so time to get into news and things, and we will discuss Atlanta United because they did make a move last night. Apparently, Bené Mihai is practicing, even though he technically still is. He is an unperson, I believe, until Thursday. Doug Robertson of the AJC has Mihai out with the club this morning as a part of anything and everything that is going on. There was one transfer move inside of actually two involving All Caps and Minnesota United. Devin Paddleford is added on loan for St. Louis City from Minnesota United, on loan through the end of the calendar year as a part of the deal. The Loons get St. Louis City's natural third-round pick in the Super Draft. So that happened. When did that happen? Did that happen early? Yeah, it happened 9 o'clock this morning Eastern time. So Devin Paddleford, left back for Minnesota United, has been added by All Caps. And also yesterday it came out that it was yet another transaction for All Caps where they got Sangbin Jeong from Minnesota United. Cash for player trade with Minnesota in exchange for $1.6 million and up to $400,000 in conditional cash based on performance incentives. The club is going to retain, meaning St. Louis City, retaining Sangbin's U22 initiative roster designation along with his current contract, which runs through the end of 25. Option for 26. Minnesota retains a sell-on percentage on any future transfer. Quote from Lutz Pfannenstiel: Sangbin joined the Loons in 23, 70 regular season appearances, 9+2 and 36 starts. He was with Grasshoppers in Zurich, 15 appearances before that. Product of the Suwon Samsung Blue Wings Academy, first professional contract 2020, 31 appearances, 2 K-League seasons, 6+2. Represented South Korea U17, U23, and senior debut against Sri Lanka. So a straight cash homie deal, 1.6 plus another 400,000 that are attached to Sangbin Jeong. So two separate transactions: St. Louis City and Minnesota United. Loan for Devin Paddleford at left back. Sangbin Jeong goes for 1.6 in cash plus another 400,000 possibly in incentives. So upwards of $2 million for Sangbin Jeong. That would be going from one end of the planet to the other. So there you go. All right. So CONCACAF mentioned, and we're going to be kind of bouncing around here in the final 35 minutes or so, plus all the news and Atlanta United and all that kind of stuff. Keeping an eye on practice this morning. Final round scheduling has been announced for World Cup qualifying. Home and away round robin matches September, October, November. 3 group winners qualifying directly for FIFA World Cup in 26. 2 best second place finishers advancing to the FIFA Intercontinental Playoff, and I think that's where they would end up playing Oceania. Final round draw took place back in June. Group A, Panama, El Salvador, Guatemala, Suriname. Group B, Jamaica, Curacao, TNT, and Bermuda. Group C, Costa Rica, Honduras, Haiti, and Nicaragua. So Thursday, September 4th, it starts Suriname and Panama, Guatemala, El Salvador. Friday, September 5th, Bermuda, Jamaica, TNT, Curacao, Haiti, Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica. Monday, the 8th, El Salvador, Suriname, Panama, Guatemala. September the 9th, Jamaica, TNT, Curacao, Bermuda, Costa Rica, Haiti, Honduras, Nicaragua. Then you end up with your other matchups. 9, 10, 13, 14 in October. 13, 18 in November, where you have 6 matches being played simultaneously in the group stage on Thursday and Tuesday. And so that's where everybody moves on from there. And so that was the news out of CONCACAF yesterday. So also, obviously, we can't go past anything else. The move yesterday by Atlanta United in waiving Mateus Klick. And I know that that has been something that folks have been talking about since last night. And that officially went down 8 o'clock last night. Waiving Klick, and that opens up an international roster spot. And then Chris Henderson quoted 16 appearances, 9 starts. Lone assist came in the win against Cincinnati. 79 appearances in his MLS career, 6-14 in 3 seasons. Per MLS rules, and this is from the club. Per MLS rules, a club may place a player on waivers at any time during the regular season, at which point he's made available to all other MLS clubs. Waiver claiming period shall commence on the first business day after the league delivers notice to clubs and expires at 5 o'clock on the second business day. If a player is not selected, meaning he clears waivers, then that player is available to all MLS clubs on a first-come, first-served basis. So, once again, club may place a player on waivers at any time during the regular season. He's made available. Waiver claiming period shall commence on the first business day, so that's today, after the league delivers notice to clubs and expires 5 o'clock Eastern on the second business day, which is 5 o'clock tomorrow. If he clears waivers, then he's available on MLS clubs' first-come, first-served basis. So, as I sit here and then click in, it says more information on waivers can be found here. So, looking at homegrown subsidies and player windows and domestics and internationals, if you want to know more about the league in and of itself and how things lay themselves out, I'm going to post that link here. So, rules and regs, Major League Soccer, you can grab that there. But once again, you can do that twice. Morning, Wiley. And you have basically what Toronto did with Insigne and Bernardeschi. That you can do twice. And so now there is one other, and this was something, and this is how I understand the current state of affairs involving Atlanta United. With this wave of Mateus Click, you now have one more to go. So waiver order based on points per game once all clubs have played at least 3 regular season matches. So then waiver taking place before 3, it doesn't matter. New expansion clubs at the bottom of waiver order until all clubs have played at least 3 MLS season matches. So right now, as things stand, it is bottom up. So today and tomorrow, if anyone is interested in Mateus Click, it starts with Montreal, goes Montreal, LAG, all caps, DC United. That's your 4. That's your first 4. And then Toronto would be your number 5. But then if those first 5 decide that they don't want to, then it's open to anybody. So that's where everything is involving Mateus Click. You have 2 of those available to you. And I know, and in some circles, there was a discussion that this was the second. If I remember things correctly, this is only the first. Because there was a discussion involving Derek Etienne Jr. That was a straight trade. There was some of the cap number that was maintained and kept and deferred over a 2-year period, but the trade to Toronto was a trade. It was not an oopsie and a pickup. So if I'm understanding and interpreting correctly, Atlanta still has one more waiver claim that they can process if they choose to use it. And so we'll see where we are here. Jarrett joining us in hour number 2. Jarrett, we are just discussing the Mateus Click situation, so your timing is impeccable. Trying to break down where things are, and if I understand things correctly, this is only the first available waiver that you can execute for Atlanta United, because the Derek Etienne mention was a trade to Toronto. It was not an oopsie.
So the Derek Etienne one was so a waiver is going to be different than a buyout.
Yes.
Derek Etienne was a buyout. You have 2 buyouts a year. That was kind of snuck in by the team in their preseason. We got to get right with God in this case, God being Don Garber.
Yes.
When you do your get right stuff at the
Yes.
start of the season, when you have to hit compliance, it was mentioned in there that they still had a budget charge for Derek Etienne, which they bought out.
Yeah.
So when they made the trade last year to send Derek Etienne to Toronto, they got, I think, $200,000 in GAM from Toronto for 2025.
Yeah.
Which is great. But what they ended up having to do in doing all that was, I guess they maintained something of a budget charge for Etienne for 2026. They used the buyout to clear that budget charge, which would have cleared more GAM to be used for this year. So they did use one already. They have one buyout remaining. This is not a buyout. This is a waiving of him. Yeah, this is requested waivers on him. Believe they'd still have to pay him, but other teams can go claim him if they want to.
Yeah.
You have a buyout. Where you use it now becomes something of an adventure.
Yes.
But for the life of me, I did not remember the Derek Etienne thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, you used one on Derek Etienne early in the season, so you have one left to use.
Yeah.
How you choose to go about that, I don't know. Yeah, we just have to see, because I got thoughts on where you use that.
Yeah, you are not the only one, sir.
I know everyone has their thoughts on it.
Well, and I know that you have a couple of other dudes that I know are in crosshairs, and I'll tell you what. I'll go ahead and I'll use this. Considering that we have been discussing other things this morning, I'll go ahead and go here. As of a handful of minutes ago, from our friends at the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS confirms Crystal Palace have now lodged their appeal against demotion from the Europa League. Expedited case on or before August 11th.
John Texter will not see the pearly gates.
The Court of Arbitration for Sport confirms receipt of an appeal by Crystal Palace FC against UEFA, Nottingham Forest, and Olympique Lyon. So basically, you're suing your. So Crystal Palace is suing itself. Concerning a decision by UEFA to remove Crystal Palace from Europa League due to an alleged breach of multi-club ownership regulations. The appeal filed on 21 July seeks to annul the decision by UEFA Club Financial Control Body on 11 July, which found Crystal Palace and Lyon non-compliant with multi-club ownership regulations and placed Crystal Palace in the UEFA Conference League 25-26. Alongside the annulment, Crystal Palace requests readmission to the Europa League 25-26 with Nottingham Forest's admission rejected. In the alternative, Crystal Palace requests readmission to Europa League with Olympique Lyon's admission rejected. The parties are currently exchanging written submissions in accordance with arbitration rules governing CAS appeals procedures. Following this process, a hearing will be scheduled. CAS hearings are not open to the public unless agreed by the court and all parties. Expedited procedure with an operative decision without grounds to be rendered on or before August 11, 2025. And this document is an unofficial summary for media use in CAS proceedings. Whilst ongoing, our confidential CAS list of hearings regularly updated. So, John Texter, and good morning to you, sir. What would be a day without John Texter without some kind of legal proceeding? So there you go.
Everything I know about John Texter at this point and all of his clubs I've learned against my will, I've not enjoyed any of it. I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of him. Pay up, buddy. And I don't know if they've paid up yet from the Thiago Almada Atlanta thing. I hope they have, and I hope we can stop that. But also, you are like juggling checkbooks on 3 different clubs, and 2 of them have been basically tightrope walking between between two buildings because man, Lyon damn near got relegated and had to get saved at the 11th hour, and just kind of like a reinforcement of, man, rich people just don't get those consequences, do they? Because he did not. And now Crystal Palace is appealing this, and watch Crystal Palace watch them come back and somehow put Crystal Palace back in, because again, consequences are only for some people.
Mm-hmm. So we've got that. So found that happened about 10 minutes ago. But yeah, I know that according to Doug Robertson of the AJC, I'm still treating an AME high as an unperson until Thursday. And Doug has him training with Atlanta United this morning. So an individual that apparently resembles an AME high might be practicing and or training at the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta training ground this morning.
David, this is right up there. I'm tired of it and I'm tired of him is right up there with Dragon Ball Z Abridged when Frieza's getting mad at Goku and does the infamous line of, "That's stupid. You're stupid. Stop being stupid." One of the best lines and deliveries you could have possibly had to encapsulate the entire position. Right up there with "Piss off," he explained.
Piss off.
He explained.
Piss off, he explained.
Yes. My God, I just don't. I don't.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to care about John Texter and his multi-club telenovela that he has tried to create by balancing checkbooks around multiple clubs.
Is it even balancing checkbooks?
Well, no, I think he's balancing one at a time. And it's just kind of like you have 3 silos and you have enough grain to fill 1.5 of them.
Yeah.
And now you are trying to do that. He is living out the riddle of the bag of corn, the chicken, and the fox, and you have to get them across the river, but you can only take one at a time. You can't leave the chicken with the corn, and you can't leave the fox with the chicken because one will eat the other. He's living that out in the moment. I want to know if this Crystal Palace bit discussion. I want to know if he goes to Cass and says, "Well, what if I took some money from Botafogo and gave it to Crystal Palace to settle debts, or from Leon and gave it to Crystal Palace to settle some debts, and we just start moving stuff around." Again, you have 3 grain silos and enough grain to fill 1.5.
Yeah, well, that didn't work with the DNCG when he was like, "Well, how about Botafogo to settle Leon debt?" And the FA.
Oh yeah, he's tried before.
Was like, "Nah, fam, that's not how this works."
It tracks though, because it's the kind of thing that would happen with a guy who, when the rumors broke about Almada back in the day, he got a terminally online immediately.
Yeah.
When Botafogo was linked to Almada last year.
Yeah, he was quite the live on IG discussing these kinds of things. Oh yeah, I'd love to have him.
Yeah, he anyone who gets online that quickly and that eagerly, that's a red flag we could fly from the top of from the top of the Great Wall of China and be able to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care about John Texter though. I don't want to care. I'm tired of it, and I'm tired of him. I have basically personally embargoed John Texter information from my brain because, again, I don't care because I'm tired of the multiple ownership, wannabe mogul bullshit. And we see the same shit in South America with Foster Gillette, who has gone quiet. Have we done a welfare check on Foster Gillette?
Yeah. Do we know where the gentleman is? Where is his GPS currently?
Yeah, can we get a welfare check on Foster Gillette? Because he went down there and started just swinging cash around left, right, and center and all that jazz, and owed a bunch of different clubs money. Look, if you're rich and you got nothing better to do than go own a sports team, more power to you. I don't blame you for that because sports franchises are a fantastic long-term investment. Again, they are not a short-term investment. You need to be able to ride it out. But if you are willing to ride out those long-term investments, then you'll be able to generate plenty of profit. That part's great. The problem is, let's do it in America, I guess, instead of going to other countries and buying up franchises that are 100+ years old and pissing off entire communities because we think we know better, but we're actually just going to start bankrupting stuff because you that there's literally a safety concern. You start doing this in some communities.
4 months ago, just to refresh people's memories, River filed a criminal complaint against Foster Gillette and Guillermo Tafoni, representative in Argentina, for defrauding the club's interest in the failed transfer of Rodrigo Viagra. I mean, you got that. So, according to details provided by journalist Grabiela Pepe, the Nunez club filed a lawsuit for the crimes of fraud, disruption of agreed rights, relying on Articles 172 and 173, Section 11 of the National Penal Code. Complaint mainly based on the fact the Foster Group committed to paying for the player's transfer, and River did not receive any money.
And to Bart's point, yeah, good for Chris Richards and Matt Turner. You know, it'd be even better for Matt Turner to play on the damn field and to actually get minutes.
Yeah, play.
Because he hasn't really done that since he left New England. This is a question next time we have Bart on for U.S. soccer stuff, of how just breathtakingly exhausting it is to see how many really talented and in-form national team keepers get the lizard brain that wants them to transfer to a top league in Europe, and then they don't see the field, and then they forget how to play their position, and then we're screwed.
Yeah.
Like Matt Freese has been great. Like Matt Freese was fine, great for a lot of that tournament. Had a couple mistakes here and there, but did well. What are we? Are we waiting for? Are we basically at this point like waiting for Matt Freese to get the offer to go? Like, I don't know, spin the wheel of misfortune and put Matt Freese on some team in Europe, and then he just doesn't see the field.
Hashtag wheel of misfortune. Yeah. I mean that is one of the things that has been a part of all of that for U.S. soccer. If you can't play well if you don't play, to paraphrase.
Also, Chelsea loaned Caleb Wiley to Watford for a season-long loan because again, like
Chelsea wants every player.
Well, yeah, Chelsea wants everyone under their umbrella, and they just want to loan everybody out. Like Chelsea wants to have a roster that resembles this check-in sheet on the Arc.
Two of you, two of you. So and Caleb has the pick. So we know this to be true because
I hope Caleb kills it at Wiley or kills it at Watford. Jesus. Leave me alone. It's 8:47.
Yeah, so literally Caleb is pictured sitting down, holding up the jersey. So it is official to a certain degree with the ceremonial, the ceremonial holdup. So we know that does in fact exist. That Caleb is heading to Watford for another year.
And Bart, man, like in my NWSL team, we don't. Utah doesn't need a rival. Utah needs an exorcism.
Oh boy, they're bad.
I've gone to one game and it was a very fun experience. Like I like Rio Tinto. It's nice. It's over there in Sandy. It's not impossible to get to. Had covered parking, which is great because it's in the 90s every day. But like fun little outdoor stadium. Enjoyed my time.
Yeah.
Team is not good.
No.
At all.
No.
Which is disappointing. Because last year when they fired their manager, they turned it around. Had a really good end to the season, and that did not carry over. Stop me if this sounds familiar.
Yes. I am looking up the schedule for. See, I need the full composite. I don't need just like a month at a time. I need like the full schedule. I was trying to be like clever about it and stuff, and try and find the. No, I don't want the 24-25 schedule. I need this schedule. Okay. All right. So here are the dates to pay attention to for matchups that we probably should just go over and go watch. Wednesday, October 22nd, Watford and West Brom. And then later in the year, where is it? Tuesday, April 21st, West Brom and Watford. So those are your choices. Those are your choices about heading overseas. Wednesday, October 22nd, and Tuesday, April 21st. Those are your dates for Watford and West Brom and Watford. You have been summarily warned. Make sure that you set your travel plans accordingly. So that is that's the George Campbell v. Caleb Wiley Bowl for Atlanta United fans. Go ahead and go overseas. I would love to see some 17s go over and see those two matchups. That's just me.
Got enough 17s have enough problems at home.
True. That's true.
Although one of those problems seems to be, and I wouldn't even call him a problem. That's mean to him. One of the situations seems to be addressing itself, though, with Mateusz Klick
Yes.
Going by the way of waivers. Again, not a buyout.
Mm-hmm.
Waivers.
Yes, waivers.
Which means they're going to be probably paying him. Granted, they weren't paying most of his salary anyway. Remember, he came over. He's still technically a DP for DC.
Yes.
DC traded him to Atlanta. And they were paying him DP wages to play for another team.
Yes.
Now he might go play for a third team. And I think Atlanta would still owe him that money. Whatever. I think a lot of that also hinges on if another team picks him off waivers.
Yes.
No clue if they'll actually do that. But it does make the midfield look a little more streamlined. If you do finish this signing for Colombian midfielder, great. Wouldn't expect it anytime soon. So I'm assuming this week you'll have Bartosz Szlisz, who is Szlisz is like we are in the cave, and I'm not sure if the light I am seeing is sunlight or if it is just like a reflection off of phosphorus,
right?
And is false hope. Either way, Bartosz Szlisz has been great. He has been the shining light in all of this because your other shining light is now on the way to Montreal. Yeah. He has been very good. I'm assuming you put him with Muyamba this week. And Will Riley, come on down. After that, I guess we pray. Well, I don't know, man. Sign Cooper Sanchez to a short term and get weird.
Well, but then you're also in Leagues Cup, and so you can kick tires on some ideas. No update, by the way, on Steven Alzate, as we discussed that yesterday. For anybody that wants to chase after those kinds of ideas, the best thing to do, at least from a tracking perspective, Transfermarkt, if you go to the agent, if you click on a player, then it tells you who the agent is. Go to the agency webpage, and Transfermarkt has a rumors section involving agencies. And so top of the list when it comes to Wasserman is Efren Morales, because that is a rumor that they posted today that we obviously talked about yesterday. So you have Efren Morales as the top of the rumor list at Transfermarkt for Wasserman. And you also have, obviously, Steven Alzate, who is just underneath the rumor for Josh Sargent from yesterday. But no update on Alzate today from everything that we have been chasing after and trying to figure out, okay, who, the what, the where, and all of that stuff. So depending on, and once again, this is what we always tell people. Check your sources, check your sources, check your sources in these things.
Okay, let's address this one real quick because, more often than not, like you're at like 95% chance, Wiley, that, you're going to get absolutely trucked in Leagues Cup. That 5% chance is the funniest 5% chance in recorded history. Because go back to the 2023 Leagues Cup. Nashville was, and this is still Gary Smith Nashville. Gary Smith Nashville was like tragic in 2023.
Oof.
They're bad in league. They were bad in Open Cup, everything. It was just hard to watch. They got into Leagues Cup and they made a run to the final. And none of it made sense because the second they went back to league play, they went back to being tragic to watch. I'm not saying that will be Atlanta. Don't get it twisted. Don't take this the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Atlanta making a Leagues Cup run would be the funniest shit in a long time. If you basically like, especially if you lose to Seattle this week, go get hit over the head with a frying pan by Seattle, roll into Leagues Cup, and somehow get out of the group and just start like lucking your way through rounds. I mean, we beat Monterey. How'd you do it? Well, they hit the post 4 times, and then we scored on an own goal in the 93rd minute.
Jaden Hibbert stood on his head and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the funniest outcome. It would be very enjoyable. 10 out of 10 would enjoy every minute of it. Is it going to happen? No, probably not. I would be highly entertained, though. And guess what? Give me that entertainment because of everything else we've had to deal with this year. I will cling to any entertainment I can get, one way or another. And give me the chaos that is Leagues Cup. I've done this for the last 2 years, but we will talk about the chaos of Leagues Cup because it's a dumb tournament. I am very upset with the way that U.S. Soccer and MLS have split teams up. I'm still incredibly pissed off that Atlanta did not get to put either their first or second team in the Open Cup.
Yeah,
I think that's an original sin, basically. That is the 8th of in the movie. If we recut the movie 7, we would have to add another 20 minutes for Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman to go over the autopsy of the Open Cup and wonder why some teams did not have a representative in them.
What's in the box?
That should be it's not in the box. Atlanta United or Atlanta United 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's a problem. It's unacceptable. Get your shit together, all of you. Get in a room, hash it out. If you don't, we're locking the door and we're going to start smoking the room.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore. But give me the stupidity of Leagues Cup, because as much as I know people love to grandstand on Leagues Cup and run just this anti-Leagues Cup campaign, and I get it, it is 100% a cash grab and a corporate shill event. Yes. It was also very fun and very dumb.
Mm-hmm.
And we enjoy those things. It's okay to enjoy those things. And still have an issue with the way the U.S. Soccer and MLS and everybody have balanced out the way teams compete in competitions.
Yeah. Question from David. Basically, is trading GAM the best way to say we're spending to the cap without actually spending? And then when you sell George Campbell later, even with the sell-on, still is a cash win for you? ?
I'm still mad about I'm still disappointed we sold Campbell at the time, but I also fielded a shit ton of questions back in the day and a lot of complaints about George Campbell when he was actually starting for Atlanta United. Of course, a couple of years later now that I get all the I see all the tweets firing through about we're doing this just like him. Like, y'all, a bunch of y'all were fine with moving Campbell. Because a lot of people do not have and this is not an Atlanta-specific problem. This is a league-specific problem.
Yeah.
A lot of y'all do not have the patience, and not y'all in the Twitch pitch, the collective humanity. We are getting into Tommy Lee Jones. The person is intelligent. People are dumb, panicky animals, and you know it. A lot of people ain't got the patience to let homegrowns go through their lumps. A lot of people did not have the patience with George Campbell. Montreal did, because Montreal wasn't good. George Campbell doing great. I'm still mad you sold him. I'm still mad you sold Efra. You sold somebody with value. You're loading up on GAM. You're going to probably end up buying down the purchases of a couple guys to make them fit under a DP. Fine. You're going to make it work. because this front office has done the kind of gymnastics before. One of the reasons you were in a position this year to go spend as much money as you did was the way you balanced out your contracts. Remember, Bartosz Schliech was technically a DP at one point. So was Stian Gregerson, because what you did was you balanced out when they came over. So you paid a ton of money up front for one of them, make them a DP, so you don't have to pay them a bunch of money later, so you can remove that DP tag. Then you flipped it to another guy, so you paid a bunch of his money on the back end so that he became a DP later until it was all done. So you're going to do all of this roster manipulation. But to answer your question, yeah, I think it is the best way to say that they're going to try and spend to the cap. Because you're in a cap league. So, I mean, you're going to spend, but you are limited in what you can and cannot do, unless you're Miami.
Just go ahead and name the fourth DP.
I don't know what the sell-on is for Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity cost is what it is. I'm still not happy about it, man. I'm still not happy about Effort getting sold. I understand it in the sense that if you want to bring in cash, you have to sell something that has value. In my heart of hearts, and we went over this yesterday, because we've watched these kids come to the academy and through the twos and struggle and then find their footing. For me, I always feel like those homegrowns are more valuable to me than they are to another team, because so many of them have been, in many cases, the ones who wear some sort of pride with the badge this year. Effort was one of them. I think George Campbell was one of them when he was here. Noah Cobb has been. Don't know why Noah got exiled to the bench and then to Atlanta United too, but Noah has also had that fire in him about it. All of your entire roster has not had that, and for that reason, a lot of times those homegrowns have more value. In my heart, they have more value to me here than they do in another place because they came up through the system and they learn to care about the badge. So I hate seeing them sold. Sell on is great because it is better than nothing.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I don't.
And I'm backtracking and I'm trying to see if there was a number or a percentage attached to it, but it was total of 9.
I agree, Bart. The effort, it feels worse for effort because he should be starting. When you moved Campbell, I believe you brought in Luis Abram. So there you go.
Yeah.
And Luis Abram has apparently fallen all the hell of the way out of favor.
Yeah. So obviously keeping an eye on all of this stuff. And so apparently NAME High is practicing this morning. But like I said, I think you're still an unperson until Thursday. So, I mean, you can't sit there and say, well, I see somebody. He looks like an AME High, but, I don't think you're going to get into any kind of real trouble over the silly thing. But nevertheless, let's see. News out of USL Championship right now. Detroit City and sporting director Trevor James have parted ways effective immediately. Keylor Navas is looking like he's heading to Pumas. Victor Gyökeres signing.
I was going to be playing until he's 65.
Oh, absolutely. Arsenal's on the verge of a Gyökeres agreement, €63.5 million plus $10 million in future bonuses. And let's see what other gossip, rumor, and innuendos.
And I don't know if you talked about this. This is what I think what Bart was referencing earlier. Denver Summit is the new NWSL team. They've revealed their crest and their name. It looks like it's given Patagonia.
Well, it's so Portland Hearts of Pine has nothing to worry about, is what you're saying.
The Denver one is given. This is a sticker that's going to show up on so many Nalgene bottles.
At Denver Summit FC, the climb is our culture. Okay, meet us at the top. Okay, so it's very, very earthy toned.
I firmly believe you should, when you make that sticker to put on everyone's bottles, the sticker should come pre-stressed. Like when you put it on, they also give you a dulled razor blade with which you can scratch up the sticker to make it look like it's been there for 15 years.
Okay, yeah. Topographic map behind Denver Summit Mountain Range, very, very earthy tones. those kinds of things. All right.
This is a clothing company that is like man, what do you know about Cotopaxi, John?
Not much.
Okay. Cotopaxi is it's a brand that is like comically expensive, but they do a lot of like fun, crazy colors, and they have a llama as their logo.
Okay.
This kind of gives me Cotopaxi energy.
Okay.
I'm not hating on it any more than I'm going to hate on it, because as a resident of the greater Salt Lake City area, I think I signed in blood a contract that like I'm Bart, my wife, came like way too close to buying a Cotopaxi fleece the other day because there was one on clearance at Shields. So the Cotopaxi of NWSL, correct?
So why don't we just
You're welcome.
call them the
Use
Denver
it, keep
Cotopaxi
it.
and Denver Cotopaxi and just get it away with just that's how it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's a lot, but I'm pretty sure I signed a contract in blood that I have to like have beef with Denver and I guess most of Colorado in the process, which I'm fine with. So I'm not abandoning my rivalries and my dislike for Charlotte, Nashville, Orlando, Birmingham for a lesser extent, although Birmingham is less offensive. Charlotte just the energy of Charlotte of demanding to be the little brother who has a seat at the table, wants to be the little brother, but also wants you to know that they're better than you somehow, because they've got more finance bro fleece vests per capita. I don't know. Hell, man, it's what it is. Not abandoning my hatred of some of these cities. I've just had to add a new one because of a blood contract that I signed with the old gods out west.
Yes.
Cotopaxi FC out there in Denver.
Denver Cotopaxi. All right. Let me do gossip and TV and get out of here, and we'll do it again tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. There goes Jarrett. Jarrett's going to go to work because I got to go talk to the DeKalb County coaches. Let me go through gossip, rumor, and innuendo and what to watch today. What to watch today, Copa Sudamericana, being an Espanol. Cerro Largo, Central Cordoba at 6, Vasco da Gama, IDV at 8:30. MLS All-Star Skills Challenge, 9 o'clock, Apple TV. Paramount Plus. Scottish League Cup, Motherwell and Greenock Morton at 2:45. Women, WAFCON, noon and 3 on BN. And being an Espanol, Fox has England and Italy at 3. FS1 has the Copa America Femenina, 5 and 8. Colombia, Bolivia, Paraguay, and Brazil. And then once again, being an Espanol, simulcasting the WAFCON semis, Nigeria, South Africa, Morocco, and Ghana. That's today. Gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Manchester United considering a move for Emi Martinez, but may be put off by Villa's £40 million evaluation. That's the 4-letter paper. Take the information at your own peril. Luis Diaz remains determined to leave Liverpool during the summer window, hoping Bayern Munich will make an offer. Newcastle in danger of losing out to Man City in their attempt to buy James Trafford from Burnley. Trafford keen to return to City this summer after they hijacked the Newcastle deal. Newcastle will offer Tino Livramento a new deal to try and ward off interest from Manchester City, who are prepared to pay £65 million for the fullback. Man City not planning a move for Livramento, looking at other targets for the position, according to the 4-letter, in direct dispute to what the Times is saying. Spurs set to rival Liverpool for the signing of Mark Gahey. That's from the other 4-letter paper from Crystal Palace. Manchester United's hopes of signing Nico Jackson received a boost after Chelsea rejected Milan and Napoli because he wants to stay in the Premier League, 3-letter paper. Villa, Chelsea, Spurs monitoring the situation of Garnacho, clubs believing he could be available for about £40 million. Juve stepping up their efforts to sign Jadon Sancho for Manchester United when Samuel Mbangula and Timothy Weah leave the club. That's from Tuttosport. Manchester United set to compete with City for the signing of Mortan Hjulmand from Sporting. Chelsea interested in Xavi Simons, but may need to sell some players first to make room for the International. Telegraph. West Ham interested in Mads Hermansen. According to Sky, formal approach expected soon. Nottingham Forest working on a deal to sign Bologna's winger Dan Ndoye. Guardian. Liverpool's James McConnell close to signing a new long-term deal with the club, going out on loan for the season, 4-letter paper. Sunderland and Fenerbahce remain interested in Granit Xhaka despite Bayer Leverkusen rejecting both of their bids. Florian Plettenberg, Sky Germany. Napoli, AC Milan, Roma, Juve, Inter interested in Federico Chiesa. Everton have spoken to Real Sociedad over a deal over Japanese winger Takefusa Kubo. Fulham expected to complete the signing of Montpellier's keeper Benjamin Lecomte in the next few days. Galatasaray targeting a move for Donnarumma, who has 1 year left on his PSG deal, yet to agree to a new deal with the French club. Ipswich leading the race for Ashley Young, who's the age of 40 and played under Kieran McKenna with his time at Manchester United. Jamal Lewis being tracked by 3 following his release at Newcastle. Norwich also reportedly closing in on a deal for Pape Diallo from Metz. Already had a medical at Watford. Birmingham City rivaling PAOK Salonika for the signing of Martin Duksch from Werder Bremen. Coventry, Derby, Oxford interested in Patrick Bauer. Oxford signing Wales U21 midfielder Luke Harris on a season long from Fulham. Derby wants to bring in Owen Beck from Liverpool. Millwall is going to be chasing after Alan Campbell, the former Luton midfielder. So that's your gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Plenty to watch, plenty to talk about. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow is Tyler. We'll see if Dylan can join us. And we'll talk All-Star. We'll talk things, all the stuff, and get back to it. And we'll also track the latest on claims for oopsies, waivers, all of that. So remember, click a waiver. He was not an oopsie. So you still have oopsies available for Atlanta United. So waiver claim, different. Just outright buyout is still available. Deal for Steven Alzate, still looking like Alex Crook from Talk Sport, headed at £1.5 million plus add-ons. No update as of yet. So once again, if you want to keep track of this in something akin to a place to bookmark, go to Transfermarkt, find your player that you want to track, go to the agency page because it'll list the agencies that the player is attached to. Go to the agency page. The agency page has a rumors section. So keep an eye on Steven Alzate and his rumors from Hull City to Atlanta United, because Wasserman, same agency that handles George Campbell, Efren Morales, and Steven Alzate, and Josh Sargent, among others. So that's your homework. Once again, thanks to Bart for dropping in a day early. Thanks to Marty Jelleme for dropping in to break everything down when it came to the unified team. Once again, if you know anybody in Houston next week, send them to the Genuine Cup. Atlanta United and Ajax. That's wild. Next week, week from today is when the competition starts. 2 groups of 20. You win, you move on. We don't know how you get from 40 to an even number to compete, but 40 down to 20, down to 10, down to, I don't know how you play it from there. But 2 groups of 20. Atlanta United's opening matchup is Ajax. Marty Jelleme, the head coach, came on this morning, said, I think it's win and keep playing. So we'll see what happens there with the unified team, as always brought to us by our friends at Gallagher. We're out the door. We got to go talk to coaches, and we're going to find out what's going on in high school football season, and we'll do more of that again tomorrow, but we'll be back here in a little less than 22. Thanks to Jarrett. Thanks to Bart. Thanks to Marty. Thanks to y'all, as always. Since it's the end of the show, that means I get to do this. Play it safe, everybody. See you tomorrow, unless something else happens and we got to break in for programming, but we'll let you know then. Bye.